So in this project I've been out in the North York Moors trying to photograph curlew, lapwing, meadow pipits, skylarks, golden plover and anything else I can find. It's been an interesting one, this one. Obviously most of these species, they come up here in the summer to nest and have their young, so it's quite a sensitive time of year for them really, so you don't want to be tramping about too much and squashing nests and all the rest of it. So I've taken a very slowly approach, which is why it's taken me a little bit longer. Yeah, just tried to get some decent shots causing minimal disturbance really. Sadly most of these species are also in decline, so we've got to be a bit mindful about how we approach them. You don't want to be scaring birds away from nests or stepping on nests or anything like that, because that's just not very good, is it? So the two species I was really focusing on were the curlew and lapwing. I thought it was better to focus on stuff, and then if I saw other stuff I could shoot it. But obviously I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to get too close to the nests, so I brought my camouflage up and just picked a spot where I thought they might be landing and sat down and waited. So that allowed me to get a few environmental shots, but there are two approaches up here on the moors. There's, you know, staying a bit of a distance away, getting your camouflage on and sitting down and waiting and see what happens, or there's using your car as a hide. That's never really appealed to me that much. You know, more about that later. So I spent a few nights out, managed to get a few decent shots of lapwing. Then actually when I was walking across the path I managed to get a few shots of them in flight. I had to spend quite a lot of time up here figuring out the best places to sit without spooking birds and the best times to come up and what have you. But I think it all paid off. Yeah, that's part of it up here. Like, you come up here and there's an abundance of birds around. At the moment I've got curlews just over there. I've got golden plovers over there. And it feels like everything's doing well. But they're not these species. They are on a massive decline. Just pouring myself a brew. And it's mainly sort of habitat loss. And all the usual culprits, i.e. us, destroying things. And so although there looks like a lot, I think curlews have got 60,000 breeding pairs. That's not a lot compared to what it used to be. I think it's dropped by an incredible amount now, I can't remember. Over 50% though, since the 1990s, which is a lot, and they're a ground nesting bird. So by default, they are likely to get predated, their chicks. So if you don't have a big enough population to start with, it ends up not being sustainable. So they are all in a bit of trouble up here. But it is good to see that. I mean, I've seen lots of numbers about, but you mustn't forget that like an individual's experience doesn't sum up the bigger picture. There he goes. Is he? So anyway, I did all my camouflage business, hid for a few nights with, like I said, mediocre results really, and decided to give the car as a hide a bit of a go. Now the reason I sort of put off of these sort of things is just because I really like the adventure of photography, and it doesn't always feel like a massive adventure when you're just poking your lens out of a window. However, I went for a drive over the moors and probably did get the closest shots that I could get, like of lapwings and of curlew, so I'm not going to disregard it because, you know, it did get me some very good shots. Good tip for when you're shooting in your car. And there she is, the absolute beauty. And so when you're driving along, you spot your quarry and you want to stop. First tip, don't stop in the middle of the road and get your camera out and start shooting, because I did that and I had a very angry Range Rover behind me, which is fair enough, bad on my part. And secondly, so after you've pulled over to the side, obviously, turn your engine off. On a long lens, that engine shake, particularly if you're sort of using your car, you know, the bit in the middle as support to lean your arms on, you're going to get terrible image shake in your images. So yeah, pull over safely, get out of everyone's way, turn your engine off and shoot away happily. And it is amazing. I was quite close to those curlew and they didn't seem that worried really. They're a little bit wary, but they didn't fly off as if they would if I was just there, you know, walking towards them. So it's definitely a technique worth pursuing up here. But yeah, it's quite interesting with these projects. Like, first days I come up here, I'm sort of thinking, oh god, I'm gonna have no hope of getting any decent images of these birds. I just like can't get close to them, can't figure them out. And yeah, it's just, you spend a bit of time up here and you get to learn where they go and how they react to things, and all of a sudden you find that you're within range and, you know, you're getting a few acceptable shots. So it is a shame that the light wasn't the best on the closer shots I have of the curlew. It's still a little bit on the harsh side, but you know, I'll still take it because they're a difficult bird to get close to. So yeah, happy days. And it means obviously I can come up here again and try and get some better shots in the future. So while we're here, I'd just like to say a big thank you to everyone who's watched, liked, subscribed to my channel so far. I sort of went into this, you know, just as a bit of an experiment really, and you know, my Bempton Cliffs videos had like 500 views now, which is more than I anticipated, and you know, I've had some nice comments and stuff, so I really appreciate that. That's made it all worthwhile, and nice to know that I'm not just shooting in the dark, because you know, it's essentially what you end up doing if you're not sort of selling your images and stuff. You end up just hoarding all these images on your hard drive and never do anything with them. And so it's nice to know that there's people watching them and people enjoying, you know, seeing these lovely places. And that is what it's all about, isn't it? And you know, if you enjoy this one, don't forget to subscribe. I spent a few sort of evenings and early mornings up here now, and you know, maybe 5 or 6, and it's just the ambience of the place. You know, it's great to have a purpose to come here, which is to try and get images of wildlife. Actually being in these places, I've said before, you know, it can be magical. I mean, it's middle of, well, getting into summer now, as you can tell, because I haven't got my hat on. And there's barely anyone up here really. There's a few cars have gone past on the road, and I feel like I've got the whole moor to myself, me and the birds, and got a glorious sunset happening over there. And it's just, yeah, it's just a nice way to spend your time really, particularly being back at work after returning after furlough. Get out there and enjoy what we've got, before it's all gone. Bit of a miserable note to end it on, isn't it? Get out there and enjoy what we've got. We've got lots of restoration projects on the go, which will be good. That's it for this one. Like I say, really appreciate everyone watching and subscribing and liking the videos and commenting and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, much appreciated. If you've liked this one, please comment again. You can find me on Instagram, just hashtag the Wild Father, and I should come up with some of my images. And yeah, it's nice speaking to you all, so get in touch if you've got anything you want to say. And until next time, happy shooting in the good way.